Senior Congress leader Sonia Gandhi has criticized the center for building a port project in the Nicobar Islands. Now, in an editorial in a leading Indian newspaper, Mrs. Gandhi has criticized the government for launching the International Container Transshipment Port in the Nicobar Islands. She said that this project here at Galathea Bay in the Nicobar Islands, she called it an ecological disaster and said it would cause great damage to the flora, the fauna, and of course the tribal populations of the Nicobar Islands. Now, why is India building a port here at Galathea Bay, more than 1300 kilometers away from the Indian mainland? The answer has to do with the Malacca Straits. Now, the Malacca Straits are one of the most strategically important waterways in the world. It's about 900 kilometers long and it connects the Indian Ocean with the Pacific Ocean through the South China Sea. This is really important because something like 93,000 ships pass through the Malacca Straits every year, and more than 23 million barrels of oil pass through the Malacca Straits every single day. The reason that India is building a port here is that it allows for the transshipment of Indian cargo destined for Indian ports here to the east coast from Galathea Bay. Now, until now, all cargo coming to the Indian ports, especially big container carrying ships like this, would stop at places like ports like Colombo, Port Klang here in Malaysia, and of course Singapore. From here they would be transshipped to Indian ports because Indian ports did not have the adequate depth or the facilities to take in massive container ships like this one here. The idea behind this port now is that Indian cargoes will be dropped here at Galathea Bay and from here they will be transshipped. The government believes this could save something like $250 million every year, and that is the reason that this port becomes really important for transshipping Indian cargo. And that's not all. There is going to be a military side to this port facility as well. As you can see over here, these are 5 very important naval and air force ports, naval and air force bases here in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. You have the Naval Air Station Shibpur, there's a Tri-Services Command headquarters here at Port Blair, there's a Karnik Air Force Base, there's INS Kardeep, and of course there is NAS Bars, the Naval Air Station Bars, which is very close to the Straits of Malacca. And this has to do with the growing presence of the PLA Navy in regions close to the South China Sea and in the Indian Ocean. The Indian Navy believes that it needs to have a very large presence here in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands simply because they're so close to the sensitive and the very strategic Malacca Straits. And very recently, the Singapore Prime Minister was in Delhi and India has expressed an interest in joining the coordinated patrols that countries like Singapore, Malaysia and Indonesia carry out in the Malacca Straits. Now, these straits are really important when seen from the perspective of the PLA Navy as well. China's Navy uses the Malacca Straits not only for patrolling into the Indian Ocean, but it's also a very important energy lifeline for the Chinese economy. And that is one reason why India wants to have a presence over here in the southern tip of the Nicobar Islands. And that is primarily one of the reasons that the Galathea Bay project, the ICTP, that's going to be commissioned in the year 2028. The first phase of this port project gets commissioned in 2028, and that's one reason that it becomes really important. So while there are several genuine reasons for people to be concerned about the ecological impact, it has to be balanced with the strategic nature of this port, the fact that this is finally one of those very key large international sized container transshipment ports like Colombo, Klang and Singapore, which India wants to build on its eastern seafront. Just like you've had Viringham Port that was constructed and inaugurated just last year here, India plans to have another one here at Galathea Bay in the next 3 or 4 years. And that is why this port becomes important, not just from a strategic point of view, from a transshipment point of view, but from a strategic military point of view as well.